Hello, folks. Chris Daly here, and it's always my extreme honor and privilege to engage with Jamaicans who are making such a difference in our communities there in the diaspora or back home. And we have a person from back home. She is not a stranger to us. It's Diane McIntyre. She's a consultant and trainer. She studied international both in Jamaica, in Europe, and also in the US. She's currently the president of International Institute of Peace through Tourism. She coordinates the International Community Tourism Network and is the founder of a really innovative way of doing tourism, the Country Style Community Tourism Network. She has built many villages as business program and empower people on the ground through these villages, teaching them how to design tours and give them much training. As you know, tourism is such a lifeblood of Jamaica, and when it got hit by Melissa last October, we wanted a few months later to talk to somebody who's very seasoned and know what's happening on the ground to give us a sense of what's happening in this industry. And so we have this delightful lady this evening to do that. To do the interview with be my partner in crime, Janice. Take it away.
Thank you, Chris. Diane, they say three is a charm. Yeah, they say three is a charm. And so for those of you who have been with us, this will be Diane's third interview with us. So for those of you who want to hear what Diane is saying in the last two interviews, feel free to do that. It'll say #1 for the first interview and #2. And this will be #3. Diane, we're so happy that you're here. You spent decades shaping the community tourism across Jamaica and the wider Caribbean with training experience spanning Jamaica, the US, UK, Germany. How did this global exposure shape your philosophy, and the community tourist has developed a tool, and how does this philosophy feel especially relevant in Jamaica's current moment of recovery?
Oh, yes. So you wanted me to respond to you now?
Yes, yes.
The passion that we've had, it has been a passion that was based on spiritual vision that I had with the good Lord, because I was concerned about our communities not being as involved in tourism many years ago. And I prayed about it because I thought the communities should be responsible for their communities, not somebody else. And it turned out that I was given the name villages as businesses. And from that, my life changed. And how I got the mindset, because I saw one of the questions was how I got my mindset that way, is that my family pioneered the grill. And, you know, that's in Westmoreland. And we had guest houses in Savlamar. So I grew up in guest house business because one of the guest houses there was our home as well. And so we entertained guests there as a homestay. And that's how I came up with the homestay program. And I think it's important to mention that we have the support of the International Institute for Peace through Tourism. The founder president discovered us in the late 70s, well, actually it was the early 80s. And when he found out about community tourism, he endorsed Jamaica as the home of community tourism. And that's how we got that endorsement. And he took it and marketed it worldwide through the IPT and appointed me the first president out of United States for the Caribbean chapter. And he also created an IPT Community Tourism Network and asked me to be the coordinator. So we've had that support from then. And I've been doing the training all over the Caribbean area.
I see.
You know, Barbados, St. Vincent, just naming a few. Antigua, and Dominica. I took it to Dominica as well. And we St. Eustatius, the Dutch Caribbean. And what it was is that people began to understand that tourism is not just sun, sun, and sea. It involves communities, and community tourism is community development, and under which falls over 40 niche markets that we identify. And people, when they heard about the niche markets, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean State asked us to do a presentation in 10 Caribbean countries about it. And, you know, the lady who had her beautiful garden in her home said, "Oh, I can do garden tours." I said, yes, that is the whole idea. And everything is based on entrepreneurship. And for people to understand that they can, within their community, be a part of the program. So that's it in a nutshell. And we feel so good that the Northern Caribbean University Morris Entrepreneurship Center has now given us certification for our training. And they're interested in moving forward.
Yeah. So that's really good. So it's like an ecotourism type of thing. You know, the recent Category 5 hurricane struck at the heart of Jamaica's tourism economy and our main source of employment and community livelihood. So you're on the ground. So we definitely need to know the aftermath of Melissa. From what you've seen on the ground, what kind of damages, economically, social, psychological, have local tourism communities experienced that an outsider may not fully understand?
Let me tell you something. It's the worst we've ever had in Jamaica. The devastation was tremendous. You know, the homes, dust, churches, everything, especially in the western side of Jamaica. Where I live in Manchester, we didn't have that much problem, thank God. But the fact is, because of the mindset of these communities, especially the ones that we were involved with, they never allowed it to depress them. They went and started doing things for themselves. Very resilient people. Bluefields, for example, did an amazing job. Treasure Beach is doing a more than amazing job. Jason Henson and so on. And then we have, you know, like Beeston Spring, which is one of our main communities. They all are moving ahead, and they're not allowing the depression to take place. And they're getting international support and local support as well. So to answer your question, it's bad, but at the same time, it's good. And we recognize that there's a need now for spiritual development. I wrote an article in 2013, the Observer featured that Jamaica needs a spiritual revival. And right now, that's what we really need, to show people that you don't have to have a church building to be a Christian. You must be able to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, Lord or Savior. And that is one of the things we're going to include in our Jamaican, the Caribbean Home of Community Tourism marketing program. I'm very excited about that. I've met with a couple church leaders, and they like the idea. So rather than just talk about the church community, you're talking about the people out there, the young people who need help. They don't understand that you don't have to go to a church building to say you're a Christian. When two or three are gathered together, you are together. And I am very excited about that.
That's true about in what they say in the good book. Community tourism is often more vulnerable than the large resort tourism, yet also some deeply rooted in the place, right? So how have community village-based tourism experience been quite uniquely affected by the hurricane? And what strengths have you seen emerge from these community responses?
Well, the strength is that they realize that for them to be able to move forward, they need to identify what they want their community to be, to do a business plan, which we can give them support with, and market it. And we have a picker project where the program that I used to have, I've now revived it, picker project while on vacation. but it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily on vacation, but pick a project and then adopt a village program. And
Mm.
the Northern Caribbean University loves it. They think, like when we do our 2-week study tour that we're planning, the idea is that after the 5-day training, people will go and visit the communities, some of them that are devastated otherwise, and be able to do an assessment and give us or their input of what is required. So I think we're on the right track, and I believe that the community tourism fund that we are going to spearhead, we've been wanting to do that as a diaspora-led program. So we're going to try and get it moving this year to provide funding ongoing. And the IPG said that they'll market it for us in their newsletter.
Yeah. Your Village as a Business program reframes tourism from dependency to agency. In the wake of this disaster, how does that model help communities move from survival mode towards sustainable recovery and long-term resilience? Bear with me. Resilience.
Well, the thing is that we have, as I mentioned before, a business plan for each community that is involved with the Village Led Businesses program. And it is for them now to sit down and say what it is that they would like. And then we will identify sponsors. And I can tell you that Sandals Foundation has done an amazing job, not only in Jamaica, but the Caribbean. And they're one of the potential sponsors. And we have others. One thing Jamaica has, we have some very good businesses and places that want to help. And once the diaspora knows what projects are required for each community, which we intend to communicate, then I think we're on the right track to move forward.
Country Style Community Tourism Network has emphasized training, tour design, management, and marketing. Since the hurricane, which of these capacities has most urgent for the community, and how are you adapting your support to meet that urgency?
Well, yes, the thing is that, as I mentioned before, we're doing a 2-week study tour promotion. And that promotion will bring people here to do the training in entrepreneurship and also go and visit those communities and then be able to assess them and see what it is that they require. It's all about information, what they need, and to recognize that we have to know that climate change is real and that we have less focus on the coastal areas and more inland development. This is something I'm very passionate about, to do inland development rather than just the coastal areas, because Jamaica has a problem, as other destinations have, where we have limited amount of reefs. We only have about 15% of our reefs left, and it's
I know,
affected our fish
yeah,
life.
I've heard about that, but what do you think we could even do to bring the coral back and these type of things? Because the whole thing is the coast. It simply must be addressed. Yes, that is an issue. You know. You know.
Well, it's something that we need to focus on, not just the environmental situation in the country is not just the coast; it's everywhere. Like the Cockpit country area has been threatened with
Yes.
bauxite mining
Yes.
and
Yeah.
whatnot. Jamaica is a very beautiful place,
It
and we
is.
need to preserve it. And it hurts us. It hurts me very much because I knew Jamaica from growing up, born and grow, and know all the beauty of it. And see what is happening is not okay.
Unbelievable. No, it's not. Your partnership with the institutions like the University of West Indies, Northern Caribbean, and now regional networks represent a powerful bridge between education and grassroots action. How do these academic partnerships help accelerate recovery while preparing the next generation of community tourism entrepreneurs?
Well, how they can do it is that they can plan to have the students come to Jamaica, for example. I mean, we have the Caribbean here, but since Jamaica got so badly hit, to participate in the restoration progress. At the same time, getting certification for community tourism development, because that's why we have this relationship with the Northern Caribbean University, because we wanted to be able to provide partner certification. Anyone who wishes to be a partner, it will get it complimentary.
And of the International Institute for Peace through tourism, you're long connected tourism with the healing and reconciliation in a season of national loss and disruption. How can tourism function not just as an economic engine, but as a force for community healing and dignity?
Well, the whole mission of peace through tourism is where you have a collaborative approach to tourism. So, large, small, doesn't matter who you are, we all work together in a united way. And that's what we're pleading with everyone to do, and don't have competition with each other. And I believe that you get more visitors coming to Jamaica, knowing that they can experience the culture and the lifestyle of the people, because our tours that we have is lifestyle. You go to the church, you go to the schools, you go to the business places, and each place gets an amount per person for the tours. TUI is the largest tour operator in the world, based in the UK. We're very impressed with our approach. So much so, that they had a contract with them for 3 years, where they could enjoy the community near Negril, called Orange Bay. And it was really special because they went to hairdressing salon, they went to the community bar, they went to the church, and they didn't go to something that was created. They went to what there is, and the community didn't realize that they themselves could be an attraction, not something that you have to build. So even when we have the devastation taking place here, people would be interested in going in and seeing what they have and what they're trying to do, and give support. So that's what we need to do.
Okay, so many tourism practitioners are asking not just how do we rebuild, but how do we rebuild better? What changes, structural, cultural, or strategic, do you believe Jamaica's tourism must embrace to become more resilient in the face of climate realities?
Yeah, I think that the whole approach has to be one of integrating hotels wherever they are with communities that they sit. That has been an issue where you can't just operate a hotel. You have to operate it within the community, and the communities need to be empowered to participate and to understand what their role is. I think that we're on the right track here. I believe that this year is going to be a profound year for us with the study tours and the Jamaica and the Caribbean home of community tourism, because at the end of the year, we're planning to have a conference for the IPT Caribbean, where we're going to get the results from the study tours and also plan the way forward for the following years after that. I think that we're going to have the diaspora as one of our lead partners, because the diaspora needs to know that for them to help, you need to know what help is required. It's not just to say, I'm going to help. You need to know, and that's what we have told communities. You need to come up with an assessment of what you require, how much it is financially you require, and that way we can then market it through the Village and Businesses program and the community tourism fund that we're setting up so that we can get the help that they require. Because some of these diaspora people are from different communities here in Jamaica. And it's good that we can, reach out to them to let them know what is happening within the community that they're from.
That they came from. But you were talking about that conference. If people would like to participate in that conference that you're talking about, do you have the contact information that you would like to tell us about?
No, well, what we're having our planning meeting at the end of February.
Okay.
And we're planning to do the official launch of our program in May. So
I
what I'm
see.
going to say to you is that all information will be sent to you. The packages for the study tour, the conference, everything, so that you can market it and get people to participate.
Okay, because when people are listening to this podcast, they're driving or exercising or they're doing something else, but they're listening to it. And so we wanted them. So what we can do is we will promote this in our social media and let people know if they would like to participate in that particular thing. So finally, when you look ahead, 5 years, 10 years, what gives you hope? What signs among young entrepreneurs, village leaders, or regional collaborators tell you that the community tourism in Jamaica and in the Caribbean can emerge stronger, wiser, and more people-centered than before?
Well, that I forgot to mention that we have now the International Community Tourism Association, and I'm the president for the Caribbean chapter. That was created by the IPT's marketing director. That is going to be profound because that way we can promote all the experiences, the vacations, the projects, everything on there, and all of it is free. They don't have to pay for anything to get on there. And
Nice.
that is something that blocked them before because they didn't have the money to pay to go on a website or to create a website. We have everything. We have all the websites now. We have everything. We just need to get information, and that is something that is very difficult sometimes to get. People say, "We want help, we want help." I said, "But hello, what help do you need? You need to be very specific of what
Right.
help you need." And
Yeah.
that is showing people to have a business mind. And that's how the Village and Business program was created, to teach people to be business-like, right?
Right. So any final thoughts before we close?
Yes, I think what is important is that there has to be more collaboration between the government and the different communities. If I were the Prime Minister of Jamaica, and which is something I'd love to say to the Prime Minister, support our program, Villages as Businesses, because that program, you get business plans for all the different communities, and let the people be responsible for their community, because the idea is for them to have a certain community to take responsibility, accountability, etc. And when they market it, and that will less work for the government because they would have all these villages and communities plans that they can send to IDB and the diaspora and everybody and get things done. And I think that's what is lacking. We need more collaboration, no ad hoc style. I have a problem with the ad hoc style. I've had visions in the past, and I still get some visions of what to do. And I think what we are not able to see happening as much as we would like is to have less political approach, but more a united approach in the interest of the country. And I think that God is in charge. And I think we need to be more spiritual in our approach, and that's why we have included a spiritual retreat so that we can get that message across. So that's what I'd like to end by saying, that if we do that, you'll be surprised what can happen.
And so if our audience would like to get in touch with you, how can they do so? Give us your website or contact
Oh,
information.
yes, I can do that. The website is visitcommunities.com/Jamaica.
Okay.
visitcommunities.com/Jamaica. And then,
Mm-hmm.
my website, I mean, mine is visitcommunities.com/Diana, more specific, which gives you the overall picture. And I think we should also mention the International Community Tourism Association,
Mm-hmm.
seatourism.org/Jamaica.
Mm.
seatourism.org/Jamaica. Yeah.
Okay. So to learn more about Jamaican diaspora, visit JamaicanDiaspora.com. To learn more about Chris Daly, visit AskChrisDaly.com. Diana, like I say, 3 is a charm.